name is Barbara Ringrose, and I'm the founder of WOW, Women Optimizing Women. You can visit the website at wowwomenus.com. Tonight, I am talking with Wendy Vaught Weiner about her business, Flowers by Wendy, as many people know her, and she actually came and visited us at WOW on our first webinar, May 1st, and talked a little bit about building business. Now, our relationship began, and we built our relationship over years. She used to be at the local florist. I was at the local business. We talked. She was always very outgoing, quite bubbly. And our relationship just began and thrived when I formed WOW as a networking group back in 2012. So, Wendy, after speaking on May 1st, we learned a little bit about you.
Yeah.
And you spoke about building business and some of the things that you've done to build your business to where you are today. You're a very successful lady here in the area, so you're up.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that warm introduction, Barbara. That was great. So I guess I started flowers at a very, very young age. Probably gardening with my mom. It kind of started the whole thing, wanting to do it. And then I actually got a job at White House Nursery right here in, I think, Hampstead or Upper Co area, planting plants and doing stuff like that. And kind of one thing led to another, and I was, kind of prompted by the owner to, hey, help me do this. Let's work on some bouquets, let's work on some corsages and boutonnieres, and she just kind of taught me how to do things. And it kind of just exploded from there. I kind of worked at a couple of local florists. I worked at Ramundi's Florist, and I managed a couple of their locations, helped them open up some of their branch locations in White Marsh and their new one in Columbia. And so it just kind of, that love, just that drive just kept going. The building of other people's businesses kind of started to kind of flourish through that. And then I started working at the Flower Box in Main Street in Westminster. And I was there for a very long time. And I really wanted to buy the store, buy the florist. And things just happened where I was able to just kind of, back away from buying it and open up my own shop. And I started out specializing in event work, and I went and opened up a studio at the Morningside Inn, and things have just kind of exploded from there. I mean, it's just been amazing. I think I feel like one of the most important things about me building my business is that personal touch. And I realized that as you get bigger, you can't always touch every single thing that you do like you did when you were more of an intimate, smaller type florist. So I'm struggling with that, trying to find that balance where you're able to just touch every single thing and talk to all the customers as much as you can, building that relationship with them, because that's really the most important thing, is building relationships like we've talked about, like the most important thing. I mean, that's where our relationship started, was just building relationship, doing business with one another, and look where we are now,
And it panned out, and I remember when you came to me and you said, Barb, I feel like I don't quite know what to do.
Yeah.
And we took some time just to meet and talk about, well, what are the highs, what are the lows, what are your concerns about doing business? Of course, money's always a factor when we're talking about startup business. And do we have the right location? Do we have the right contacts for our business? You had a lot of that with your experience, as you explained going forward. So you knew all of that piece, but the confidence level, I never ever thought anything but you would be successful. And I know in the beginning, just like with myself starting WOW now as a business, there's once in a while there's a little waiver of confidence, but for the most part, you're very knowledgeable about what you do. And you've also done other things, not just with WOW, but BNI. You built your business even more so by going out and getting more into networking. So can you expand on that a bit?
Sure. So when I started with BNI, I basically had only had my shop open for about 6 months, and I met with a lady who actually has moved, but she was going to our WOW meeting. She was Cakes by Linda. So Linda said, Wendy, I really think that this is going to help you. You really need, you need to get out from behind the, your computer or your desk or whatever, and just get out and start meeting people and building those relationships. And so, about 6 months into my business, I started, going to BNI meetings and getting out there networking more. And then I became kind of part of the corporate end of it. I started to help other chapters build their groups and bring people into BNI, because it was just it was a great way to build those relationships and build your business, because it really kind of focuses on structure, and it focuses on giving referrals. So when you go in, you're building these relationships, you're getting to know people, and then once you start to trust them, you start to do business with them, because you do business with people that you know, you like, and you trust. And that's what it all comes down to.
And you know what? You're 100% right, Wendy. And that's what WOW is all about. That's the mission of WOW. My initials BERS. Build relationships, establish rapport and trust. Mm-hmm. Because if you can't trust someone, you can't do business with them. Mm-hmm. And refer. I'll say that 3 times. Refer, refer, refer. Mm-hmm. And then S is for support and guidance. Mm-hmm. And that's where we need to work together to give each other that support and guidance as needed. And that's what you did with the chapters at BNI.
Yeah.
And that gave you confidence in what you did, because you were able to help other people. And sometimes it's not always about the getting, but it's about the giving. Yeah. It's the education piece, and that's a big part of WOW. Learning how to do your business is a very, very important part of WOW. And we'll discuss that periodically. And Wendy has laid out some of the things that she had to do. It's not an overnight success.
No, it's definitely just it's a constant. It's like an uphill battle. You're climbing up. You're climbing uphill, and you're just. I feel like the biggest thing for me was referrals was one of my biggest parts of my business, because I didn't really advertise. I basically just tried to do the best that I could with every single person. So like I started out with one person, and now I have hundreds of clients, but I still try to treat them like they're the only client I have, and that just giving that special touch. And a lot of times when people want special things done, I say just text me and let me know exactly what you want, and I'll make sure that we do it perfect. We want it to be perfect. And it doesn't matter if it's wedding work or it's funeral work or it's a birthday or it's an anniversary. I really just want people to be completely happy with everything. Not just satisfied, or not just like they were pretty, but I just want them to be like, oh my gosh, that was the prettiest thing I've ever gotten, and she really just went above and beyond. And that's what I try to do for all my clients, and it makes me happy. Like I love it. I just like to brighten people's day. I really even like the delivery part. It's hard for me to really do that, but I love to deliver flowers.
You did a great job delivering my mother-in-law's flowers for Mother's Day last week. She was elated. I told you how happy she was.
My father-in-law delivered that flower, because I think it was my father-in-law that delivered it.
Oh, that was so cool.
He does a lot. He helps me a lot, and he loves it too. He says it's really like a lot of fun for him, because he says 99% of the time, they're just like so excited. He said sometimes they'll look at him like, who sent me flowers? They're confused, but
and that's the special part of what you do, Wendy, and you're a special lady. I really think that one of the things that you just touched on a minute ago was, when you touch someone, when you have a relationship with someone, as you're building that rapport, that trust that we spoke of, you're not looking at that person to hand them off and you'll never see them again. Mm-hmm. You're looking at them almost like family, like they're going to be around for some time, and you're going to develop that rapport, you're going to develop that relationship. All those are important things if you're going to consider a business and building that business, and you want to take it with time and stride. People are talking about it's not a race, it's a marathon, it's a long distance. You're not looking to jump and sprint. It is something to behold, being a business owner. And we know that a strong part of our society, our economy, is based on entrepreneurs like yourself. You spoke about employing your father-in-law.
Yeah, and I'm starting to I've got, a couple of young girls that I'm trying to just, train and bring up, and I've been working with one girl for almost a year now, and she's to the point now where I can give her something and I can just kind of let her loose, and she'll come back and ask for my opinion and make sure that it's okay, because she knows that I'm a micromanager, so I have to make sure that everything, like I see everything go out the door. But it's to the point now where I really just feel great, and she's blossoming, and I'm just excited about like where we're going, and I have a couple of other people that help me on a regular basis, and it's just, we're getting excited. We're opening up a new location, so I'm super excited about that.
That's amazing.
I'm so excited. Yeah, so I have my studio at the Morningside Inn, and then we actually built an addition onto our house, because people, that's the address that was listed, so people were just driving by. What kind of started was people would just drive by and they would just come in and say, I Googled you and it says this is your address, and I'm like, well, we're not quite like an open flower shop yet, but maybe that's something we should think about, because people just drive by our house and they'll just pull in and either say, I was at a wedding and you did the flowers and I wanted to stop and say, they were really pretty, or do you have flowers I can take to my wife today?
That's exciting.
So we're excited. I think probably by September we should be fully opened and able to receive customers on a regular basis. So I'm very excited about that.
And Wendy has said she will do an in-person hosting for us next year in 2024,
yes.
which is very exciting.
Yes.
Part of what WOW does is WOW has events during the year where entrepreneurs, business owners, corporate people, government employees, nonprofit managers, directors, they can host a WOW, so they can introduce to the WOW ladies and to the community what they do. A lot of times you have a shingle like at your house hanging out there, and people aren't really sure what that means. And we want people to understand that we are a business, a small business, and we're thriving. We want to get to know them just as much as they want to get to know you.
Absolutely.
So part of WOW is in-person hostings, in addition now to taking WOW virtually. And that's what you're seeing right now. This is actually our first podcast, which is very exciting.
Gosh. I know. I'm
very exciting.
About that.
So we'll make sure that you get a copy of that. I think that's a big part of what we do, and we want to be able to share. We want to then you to be able, and you talked about training, and one of the things that I thought about while you were talking about your training, you talked about the micromanaging.
Yes.
You talked about you want to have your fingers on the pulse a little bit, but I also hear you're delegating, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
You are actually delegating, and it's that trust that you have, not just with your employer for the employee, employee for the employer, but as an employer, you can now delegate to people that will give you that freedom to do more networking if that's what you'd like to do, or maybe even deliver some of your own flowers.
Yeah, which I did today because I didn't have the help that I needed, but it was fine. It worked out great, and I like that because they say, "Are you the owner? Like, are you delivering my flowers and you're the owner?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Special. That's very special.
And that's what they say. They're like, "Wow, I get the owner delivering the flowers." It's like, well, it sounds good. It's just that I'm a very small business, but I do enjoy it. I really do it, and it means a lot. And my husband does delivering for me. God bless him. He gets reined into setting up weddings and all kinds of stuff, and he's learned a lot about flowers over the last. I'll be in business 7 years.
That's incredible.
I started it in November of 2015, so actually, it'll be 8 years. Wow, 8 years. 8 years.
That is a big wow. That's a big wow.
It is, and I mean, wow, and I've met some wonderful ladies through WOW. I mean, the networking is amazing. Like the support, that you get, and just walking into a room and knowing people and supporting each other. It's just a great feeling.
And introducing you to people and having you speak, and we do that at every WOW. Everyone gets an opportunity to network and the host to then deliver, much like what we're doing here, a little different style, because normally we're all standing when we do that. But the host gets an opportunity to discuss their business, much like Wendy is doing today. And some of what Wendy does, of course, is deliver beautiful roses and arrangements. And as she just said, Mother's Day was a very busy time for you, and
Yes,
even Mother's Day Monday.
Yes.
And when I go in the community, what's exciting is in the community. I'm one of the board of directors on the Carroll County Realtor Association here. Is when we have events like our gala to have your arrangements on the centerpiece. What a treat to know where it came from and hear the accolades about your business and the people that you've made very, very happy. Very special.
The last gala was at the Westminster Riding Club.
Yes.
So,
Yes. It was on a rainy, icky night.
It was.
But it was just beautiful, and those flowers held a beautiful spot in the room on every table that was there. So we've talked about the building. We've talked about how you began, which was just a gradual process. Like you said, started with mom and gardening, and then you started working at different floors like local Romandi's, and then the Flower Box, another local small business. And then you had the opportunity, should I stay or should I go now? And you made that decision to go. And now, like you said, you're going on 8 years, you're thriving, but it wasn't something that she did overnight. It was definitely a process.
Yeah.
She, it's not something that you can take lightly. And then also to learn about the many pieces of the business. So as I'm building my business, I'm also learning, I'm also teaching. You take on those many roles. So now we know where you are sitting here today, this beautiful day in May. Where do you see yourself, let's say, in 6 months to a year? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I plan on staying at the Morningside Inn. I would like to stay on as their on-site florist. I do probably 50 to 60% of their weddings there, sometimes more, but that's about the average. I also want to have my store at the at my home as a walk-in type thing, and I really want to build that up. I built the event part of it. And I just started about 2 years ago with the other aspect of it, and so I just would like to increase some walk-in people. There's actually we're trying to come up with something that's a little bit. I want butterflies are like my signature piece. I put butterflies in every arrangement. It's just something I do, and so we started doing, we're trying to do like charms made out of resin that are like butterflies. We've started doing some dried preservation, flat pressing, freeze drying flowers. We started doing that. So I'm just trying to expand a little bit and just be able to offer people a little bit more than just the flowers. Like, they get the flowers from us, but do they want to save them? Do they want to preserve them? Do they want to put them in a frame? For funerals, for weddings, and different things like that. And then there's actually a young girl who does beautiful artwork, and she makes ornaments, and she paints flowers, and she does all kinds of beautiful stuff. And I'd like to host some of her artwork in my shop. So I would also like to kind of help other businesses, put their artwork in my shop, or, anything that kind of could relate to flowers, maybe help them a little bit as well. So Flowers
by Wendy is
Carroll.
now...
Yeah, Flowers by Wendy Carroll.
Wendy Carroll.
Yeah, I know everybody says
that. Me. I always say Flowers by Wendy.
I know, that's what everybody calls me.
So,
that's fine.
Yeah, Flowers by Wendy, and I put you in as Flowers by Wendy Carroll, and that's important. But also, when you talk like that about the butterfly, we always have something a little on the side. For me, I just wrote my first novel. It's a piece of me. Wow's my passion. The writing's a piece of me. But my branding is this: Women Optimizing Women. And I like that to be my brand. And you're incorporating something like that into your flowers, and your floral service is the butterflies, which is really interesting. Taking something you have a passion, another passion for, and combining the two, which is really special. So when we go forward, as I said, you're opening the shop, looking maybe by the fall to have that open, maybe increasing some of your business through Morningside, which all sounds really good. So you're thinking not just about present day, but where I'm going in the future. And that's one of the things, when you're a business owner, you have to keep that in mind. Sometimes it's about developing a business plan, And a detailed business plan, you could probably get on the internet. I always say to people, Google it, just Google it. And that's an important part of business, is knowing where you are. Having a mentor,
Yes.
you know, and it may be your mom. Maybe it's somebody at WOW, like myself, but having a mentor to help you, because all of us can't be a know-it-all about everything, and taking the time to build those relationships, and that is going to build your business. Makes sense to me. Is there any other thing maybe that you might like to mention? Because I do want people to learn from this video, this podcast that we're doing today. I want young entrepreneurs, older entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs alike, and it's all about women, WOW Women Optimizing Women. I really want us to optimize each other. Is there anything, and I think of things in threes when I say this, because threes, to me, you can focus and you can be proficient in three things. And are there three things that you could say maybe to viewers when they see your podcast that you would suggest to people when they're starting a business?
Don't be afraid. Just if you're uncomfortable, it's part of your growth, and I feel like being scared and uncertain is a good thing. You really, just dream big, you know, just take a chance. I mean, don't be afraid to fail, because failure is part of growing, and I don't think that you can be successful unless you fail. You have to fail, or you have to fall at some point sometimes, but it's the way you go forward. If you pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and just say, okay, I'm going to learn from that, and just keep on going, and that's how I feel.
So don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Understand that you're going to have,
that you're going to have failures.
maybe some bad experiences.
Yeah.
And we've talked about some of those in the past.
Yeah.
And maybe a third thing maybe that they could take away from this video, something that you learned.
Something that I learned, don't be afraid to ask for someone's opinion of something. Go to like somebody, because that's what I did with you. I said, I think I might actually want to start my own business. Who can I talk to about this? I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call Barbara Ringrose and say, hey, would you like to meet for coffee or drink? And I need to talk to you about something. I need some encouragement, you know? And that's what I did. And you know, I feel like, you know, seek some go to a mentor, you know, look to somebody that you admire to kind of give you some guidance.
And that's interesting that you said that, because a year ago I went to Wendy and I said to her, look, I'm thinking about doing this thing with WOW, and this is what I got on the books right now. This is in my head. This is some of the things I put together. And we actually talked then about me. It was my turn to take WOW from a in-person event to now a business. And we spoke about those details. So it's reciprocating ideas. And you can actually co-mentor. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Each of us have to learn. So very, very good. Learning is great. So here we are today. Like I said, wonderful day here in May, talking about business, building business. I'm with Wendy Vaught Weiner of Flowers by Wendy Carroll, and we will be going to an event this fall, our second annual women's conference, which we're preparing for and getting excited about. I will be having my second WOW meeting. It is on June 5th. It will be the first Monday of each month. If it's a holiday, it will fall on the second Monday of the month. I'll introduce you to another WOW member, and also we'll do another WOW podcast. I'm looking at least one a month, so I'd love for you to join us. Barbara E. Ringrose, founder, WOW Women Optimizing Women. Please go to the website and apply for membership. There will be a paid membership. You can see the fees. That goes into effect July 1st. I know the website says June 1st. I've moved it back. I wanted to have 2 months of an experience after we got the website up and running. So thank you all for listening. And Wendy, thank you so very much for coming today. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Barbara. It's
all
been
right,
great.
Wendy.
Thank you.
Excellent.